Like the recorded one. There we are. Brad starting the pod on the fly. This is the Triple Play Fantasy Basketball Show, fresh off a honeymoon in the lovely Dominican Republic. I am the married coach, James Lewis, your host, back again after missing some time, but...
You're looking tan, man.
No, I'm not.
Skin like as dark as me.
And skin like this, we get a little red, and we get right back to white. Yeah. The people working there were like, oh, you're going to look like this by the end of the day. I know. You don't know how this works. We burn and then we get back to white around here. And you heard the voice, as always, someone who looks at things through a different lens, the divergent Brad Kilgore. What up, Brad?
Wow, I like that. I should get an NBA reference page and have the divergent as one of my nicknames.
Yeah, I try to match up how many nicknames there is for Charles Barkley. I think I counted like 33, however much rebounds he averaged in his career. And special guest, we welcome in a man who's been running the sideline and the baseline of Capital One Arena. He's looking forward to his 15th year as Wizards team attendant, the head varsity basketball coach at Northwest High School in Montgomery County. He runs a basketball summer camp. He gets guys like Otto Porter Jr., Kyle O'Quinn, Jake Funk, to name a few. Dave Hapla, if you don't know who he is, please Google it. One of the greatest shooters to ever hold a basketball. He's a men's league champion supreme. My former Towson University classmate, my man, Coach Chase Rieder. What's up?
What's going on, guys? Appreciate you having me on. That intro was serious, man. I was like, man, this is the real thing you guys got going on here.
I forgot to mention this man has a bagel named after him. Is this true?
Oh, wow. Now we got to know about this.
Yeah, it is. That's a true story. It's called the Coach Rieder at Izzy's Bagels.
Wow.
Shout out Izzy's Bagels in Delhi.
That's big time right there.
That is
no free plugs though. I might have to bleep out Izzy's Bagels.
I don't know, man. Shout out. They're gonna give my guy a sandwich named after him. They deserve.
That's true.
They deserve a small plug. You can find him at 3pointsg20 on Twitter. All right. So end of the summer. The summer league has ended. The Sacramento Kings, they get their first championship maybe of all time. Yeah, it's a summer league one. They defeat the Boston Celtics. We want to talk about some standout players because if you're a basketball enthusiast like us, we watch the details. We take a look at the box scores, even if we don't see all the games. We're trying to see who's going to be the next rising star. And a lot of times the players that do exceptional in the summer league, it translates right into the season. So who are some guys that you've seen, and we'll kind of go around the horn, maybe a player or two, see, bounce around our thoughts. Brad, who's one player in particular that stood out?
Let's start with Chase because I don't want to ramble.
Okay, Chase, who's a guy that you saw out there that piqued your interest?
So, I mean, I'm not going to go with a rookie, but someone who I saw that I think is going to get a lot of run this year is Malachi Flynn with the Raptors. Now that Kyle Lowry's gone, he was playing a lot last year with Lowry being out with injuries and Van Vliet being hurt a little bit, and he was getting in and producing. And he did his thing at summer league. Watched a couple of games, and like I said, the Raptors are kind of in that stage right now. Like they could be rebuilding, but they're trying to probably go for that eighth, ninth, maybe playing spot. So I think Malachi Flynn is going to get a lot of run, and he could put up a lot of stats because, like I said, with Lowry gone, someone's got to put the ball in the hole.
Absolutely. He impressed me as well. And I picked him up a couple short stints towards the end of the season as I had Kyle Lowry on my fantasy team. And when Kyle Lowry wasn't playing, he was a good plug-in. He fills up the stat sheet. He even gets some steals and some blocks in there. And maybe he's part of the reason why they went to Scottie Barnes, who was also impressive out there, even though statistically he's not someone that like overwhelms you with filling the whole stat sheets up, but you can see his effect on winning. And I thought he impressed not quite as much as the guy they passed up on, and Jalen Suggs, who might have been the most standout rookie performer that I saw out there. Brad, who's the guy that caught your eye?
Man, you know what? I kind of wanted to look at teams as a you know, kind of in total, and I could obviously go with the Rockets. I think they had 3 great prospects that all really showed out, you know, especially, you know, Jalen Green. He was just a smooth scorer. And then Alperen Sengun, you know, he was my number 4 overall on the entire board in the draft this year, and he went out and showed why he's a Turkish League MVP at 18 years old. He looks, you know, completely poised, and he looks like he's moving well. He's not worried about, you know, differences in size and musculature. Like, he's in there banging with guys, and he looked really great. The Rockets are my like sleeper pick to make the 8th seed this year. I really think they've done a great job rebuilding with young people. But my pick is going to be Cam Thomas, man, off of Brooklyn. He led the league.
Before we get to Cam Thomas, you said 3 standout rookies for Houston. They had 4 first-round picks. So are you leaving? Yeah. Are you leaving one of those guys out? Because I had one player on my disappointments that.
Who's your disappointment?
It's Garuba. Yeah, I don't see why Garuba is like why he was rated so high. Like, yeah, he's got a high motor in defense, but offensively he's just out there. Honestly, I just see so much more upside with a player that you just named that they could use with that pick. Josh Christopher showed some signs of some isolation moves. He looks good. He was my third that I didn't mention. He's funny. He reminds me of Dylan Brooks as far as like he thinks he's like the best player on the court all the time. And, you know, he got some run with Jalen Green, their former AU teammates, and you saw that chemistry. And they were definitely probably the most exciting team out there when you throw all those first-round picks. But Sengun was second in the summer league in rebounds per game, so he was very. And you impressive.
Have to like I like that mindset, because you have to think you're the best player out there. Because if you're playing passive, then we might not know his name. You know, he might be, you know, passing to Suggs and Sengun all day, and then we're not talking about him. But he showed out. But Cam Thomas on Brooklyn, like I thought he did an incredible job. He pretty much showed exactly what he showed in college. He's going to score and nothing else. But on a team like Brooklyn, like that's really all they need. You know, they lost Karis LeVert, and he's going to provide what 50-60% of that scoring output as a rookie. I just think that's an incredible move by them not to be complacent. They went and got Australian national legend Patty Mills to bolster their backcourt. Like I think they got a good thing going. Yeah, it's pretty much the Lakers and the Nets to me, and I think the Nets have shown the best job of not being complacent in the East.
And it's why they're the favorite. Chase, what's your take on Cam Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching him hit that game winner against the Wizards in that game.
Yeah.
And
it was a floater 3-pointer. It was such a difficult shot.
I actually loved what they did this year Summer League, where they had that ending part in sudden death. It made it a lot more exciting. But yeah, I mean, he I just don't know how much he's gonna play, you know, on that team right now. I mean, like you said, he on the not Summer League, but you know, when we get to the season, I mean, Is he gonna get run? I mean, like I said, they just got Patty Mills. I mean, where does he really fit? Who is he going to back up? And then, like,
that's interesting.
I don't know, because this year is really, I mean, they got a lot of pressure. Brooklyn, are they really going to trust a rookie?
I will say, with the injury history of the Nets, and we saw that last year that they were banged up. Kyrie hasn't played in an 82 game season probably his entire career. You could plug him in on the nights that one of your stars maybe goes down, and I could see him finding a role. He might have some coach DMPs, but in some other cases, I could see him, you know, playing some heavy minutes.
So my take was that like he was going to be, you know, the Jordan Clarkson role, like the just spark plug. You have no job except for to score and not get embarrassed on defense, and that's what I kind of expected from him. And in that role, I'm expecting like, you know, 25 to 30 minutes. Well, all right, 25 minutes a night, I think, is a good average I'm expecting from him. But, you know, to your point, like there is a legitimate chance that he just doesn't get any run, and they have like a tight, 6, 7, 8 man rotation the entire league, but the entire season. I mean, but I can absolutely, see him carving out that Karis LeVert role, which they traded away when they put their big three together. Like I think he's got a legitimate chance to get some burn. So that's surprising.
I definitely don't see him in no Patty Mills lineups together. I think that is just horrific defensively. And Patty, you kind of want the ball in his hands. I think Patty will play better with Kai and James as well.
You got Patty Mills starting?
No, but I have him playing heavy minutes with those two guards coming in. No, but I think he'll be the sixth man. But like I see Cam Thomas playing good with some of these like passing bigs.
Where do you say
Blake Griffin?
If you had to guess, just over under on his minutes, what do you think, Chase, and what do you think, Coach?
I would say 18.5. I would say.
It's funny. My first thought was 18. So yeah, I'm with Chase on that.
Signed Carter from Phoenix, Javon Carter.
Yeah, Javon Carter.
So
do you see Javon Carter getting more minutes than Cam Thomas?
Right now, yeah.
I think he's going to play more meaningful minutes, but I don't know if at the end of the year it'll be a minutes per game he played more. Just based on if Star goes now, I could see Cam Thomas having certain games where he plays a lot of heavy minutes. We saw Tyrese Maxey play some games where he played, 35, 40 minutes, and then other games he didn't play much. He was impressive in the summer league. Like
Javon Carter was a beast, man. He's completely changed his game from like what he was at West Virginia.
Yeah, and he still has that defense. Now, a guy that stuck out to me and somebody that I love this pick on draft night, that's Trey Murphy III out of Virginia. He goes to the Pelicans with Zion. It's all about who can fit with Zion Williamson. And what impressed me with Trey Murphy is not only was his defense, but he put someone on a poster. His shooting stroke just looks smooth. He looks ready to play right now. One of the most impressive games that I saw from him is he only had 7 points, but he had 7 rebounds and 7 assists. He never had a game where he had more than 4 assists in college. So his ability to like add to his game and play make a little bit alongside Zion, I think he's going to be a seamless fit, and I think he's going to get heavy minutes as a rookie. And I look for him to be on one of those first or second all-rookie teams this year.
I mean, 6'9", shooting 43% from 3. Like that dude he's a dream NBA prototype. Really.
Yeah, 50, 40, 90 in college. Yeah. One of, I think, like 2 other players that did that. Do you guys have anybody else on your list?
What about we covered a lot of them? Well, Davion Mitchell looked incredible.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to piggyback. Peyton Pritchard was one of the most impressive players in summer league. He had a 92-point performance in the Portland Pro-Am. And so go ahead, Chase. What did Davion Mitchell do?
So here's my thing on him. So it's funny, like every summer league, you have the rookies who are rising sophomores who kill it, like kill summer league. I mean, a couple of years ago with the Wizards, more than a couple of years ago now, probably 6, 7 years ago, Glenn Rice Jr.
Yeah, that's true.
The summer league MVP.
Yep.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know what happened there, but so yeah, Peyton Pritchard's killing, and then he scores 92 at the Pro-Am. Then he had like a 60-point triple-double in this different Pro-Am. And then I'm watching the finals, and Davion Mitchell was just all up in his grill, locked him up. So I'm like, all right, let's calm down with the Peyton Pritchard shit.
You're right.
I think they nickname Davion Mitchell off night for a reason. Everyone he matches up with has an off night, and he put James Bouknight on shackles. And this is what concerned me about James Bouknight coming into the draft, because Daryl Marcel did that to him from Maryland in the NCAA tournament.
Shooter, man. I'm not big on Bouknight.
He doesn't understand when it's not his moment, just to get the ball out of your hands, come off a screen or something. He's the type of kid that all he sees is, I want to go to the hoop, even if there's a strong defender in front of him. It's a bad look for you, buddy. Just pass the ball. We'll see what happens with him. But I have a look. I have some questions on Bouknight, even though he looks good in the workouts, and that's why he was rising, because he was just unbelievable in work. But when you put a man in front of him, it's hard for him to go get his.
Now that we kind of talked about the Wizards a little bit, I kind of want to bring up somebody who disappointed me.
Go ahead. This is disappointments. This is shout out. So go ahead.
Okay. All right. So Cory Kispert, man, So when the Wizards had their pick at 15, I was kind of hoping either Cory Kispert or Trey Murphy. And when they drafted Kispert, I was like, yeah, that's probably the better pick. He's shown what he can do, against top flight talent. He's just got a pure jumper. He's a pure scorer. He's going to develop, like, all that stuff. He fits well. He was really passive to me. I wasn't super impressed over summer. I'm not going to judge him off of, a few games with a bunch of people who aren't even going to be on the Wizards roster come season time. But I don't know. I was expecting more of a, shooting 10 threes a game type performance from him.
In our Wizards Insider, what's your take on Cory Kispert, Isaiah Todd, our two draft picks that we got? Chase?
I mean, I do agree with you. He was definitely passive. It just didn't look comfortable. He looked like a rookie in summer league. There was, the games that I watched, he knows how to play. He makes the extra pass. Everyone's going crazy about how of a cutter he is, which I saw. I mean, like I said, he is a 4-year college basketball player. He knows the game. And I think some Wizards fans were kind of disappointed that he wasn't jacking up threes and scoring 18 to 20 points in summer league. But again, like you said, it's hard to have a week of practice with, again, 99% of those guys are not going to be on the team. And to get in a rhythm, I think he's kind of a rhythm player. So, he was shooting a lot of threes and just wasn't hitting them. And then after, I think, like the third or fourth one, he just stopped shooting. Where there was one game he had 18. He started off pretty consistent, pretty hot, and he did 5. Instead, it's when we drafted him, I think everyone just, like, the average fan just saw the highlights, saw what he looked like, and they were like, "Oh, we got our Joe Harris." It's like, let's calm down.
Joe Harris, it took him a while in the NBA to even play.
People don't know that Joe Harris started out in Cleveland when LeBron was still there. Right. Maybe like on some 10 days or stuff, and he was just chilling on the bench. So it took Joe Harris a while. He came in league ready too. He was polished player coming out of Virginia, kind of almost the same type of player where he won player of the year in his conference and he's lights out shooter, but then he couldn't find his way in the court. And I see that with Cory Kispert this year. I don't see him getting in the rotation with the Wizards lineup.
Well, I think he'll be in the rotation, but to your point, Chase, we don't know. He's not like on the roster bubble or something. Like, we know he's going to be on the team. So he could have had direct orders. Like, we know you can shoot. This is to look at our other guys. We want you to work on other things. Like, he could specifically not be showcasing his shooting, just to work on his other things like cutting and just getting the feel of the game, like you mentioned. And the way Rui is kind of just developed over time, I'm kind of optimistic on what the Wizards can do with their high draft picks, because if he's anything like Rui, if he can take that kind of exponential growth, we've got quite the talent on our hands. Because Cory Kispert, he's got all the tools.
I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with Rui this year. There was no challenge at his position last year. He was the third option easily. Now you bring in Kuz, who plays kind of that same position. Like, will this affect his confidence? And last year, you saw him get a little bit better, but he didn't get. You expected a little bit of a bigger jump, knowing his opportunity that he had.
With Rui, his numbers skyrocketed when Russ or Brad Beal were out. So his thing is, like, if he can be the second banana, he was easily giving you like 25 and 8. Like, he was confident, and he was taking all the shots that you want him to take. He wasn't passing anything up. So you mentioned Kuzma. Like, I don't think he's going to take a backseat to Kuzma. I think they can both eat. Like, I don't see it. I don't see a world in where, like, Kuzma's averaging, 20 shots a game and Rui is the third banana. Like, I think Rui is going to take an even bigger jump this year because he's going to be expected to score.
So just for at home, before Chase chimes in, Rui averaged 13.5 as a rookie. This past year, his sophomore year, he was 13.8. His rebounds went down. His assists went down. His field goal percentage went up a little bit.
But you want to look at what he was doing without one of the superstars. Like, that's when you saw prime, like, Rui potential.
And the jury's still out. And he started every game of his NBA career. So Chase, what's your take on Rui and What do you see him kind of with this lineup? I mean, not only that, you have Denny Avia, you have Bertans, you have a lot more of a stacked roster. I mean, we were very, very depleted once it came to the bench, even our starters last year. So,
right. I like Rui a lot. I think he's progressed year after year. I think one thing is that he just needs to be more aggressive. And those times where he was scoring, I think maybe he had like back-to-back 20-point games, 8 rebound games. He was aggressive. He was like, all right, like if whether it was Brad that was out or Russ was out, he knew that he had to, contribute more. So for him, I think that's what it is. I think he could, maybe get up to like 17, 18 this year, points per game.
Yeah, I think so.
Like I said, he's just got to be more aggressive. His mid-range is fine. He's got to improve his three. But like I said, sometimes he's a little passive and he doesn't have that anger. Like, I'm gonna dunk on someone. And you saw in the Olympics, over was it Pau Gasol? Was it Mark or Pau?
Yep, I think it was Pau.
I think it was Pau too. Like that's all the Wizards fans are like, here we go. It's like he's got to do that. We're not asking him to do that 48 minutes a game, but more consistent than he has been doing it.
But not to give him too many excuses, but last year was a tough year with COVID and then pink eye right away. Like he had to battle himself in back into game shape and kind of figure out how to play with a Russell Westbrook, which takes an adjustment from anybody. But I think the Russell and Rui relationship was a good one for Rui. I think that he helped empower him. I saw him talking to Rui a little bit more than some of the other players. And to Chase's point, I think this Olympic experience is going to help them. To pivot on, because we have spent time on the Summer League and the young guys, but we love the young guys. Just a shout out Atlanta. It seems like they just keep hitting on their draft picks. They get Sharife Cooper in the second round, and he was just dazzling. He looks like a baby CP3. I'm not comparing him. Like, I know that's his like protege, but they look like they have a solid point guard to back up. Trae Young, Josh Johnson looked very impressive, which makes some of those wings a little bit more expendable. We'll see what Atlanta does with all these players.
How many minutes do you think Sharife Cooper is going to get?
I see that. I mean, that's a tough. They did get Dylan Wright too, so I don't know how much he's going to play. I think didn't they get Dylan Wright?
I didn't understand that pick because it's like I see him getting more or less minutes than Cam Thomas is going to get. Like I don't see him playing.
I don't see them drafting for fit because they're so young. I think they're just drafting the best player available, and that was the case with Josh Johnson, and that ended up look like that was a hit too. It's like they're just loaded with young talent, and they're one of the most exciting young teams in our NBA.
That's tough. That's tough because they're a playoff team now, so it's like they need to start like deciding what their team is going to look like and who's their core. So that's why I don't really understand not drafting for fit when the best player available is going to sit behind your best player for, 40, 30 minutes a game. I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, to me, he's a first round talent, and he went, mid-second round. So I think I wasn't, and I think he was definitely the best point guard prospect at that point.
I agree.
Disappointments, just I guess before we pivot, Cole Anthony, the guy that I'm really high on, I know Brad is as well. He did not look well next to Jalen Suggs. Looked like the true alpha on that team, which, Cole Anthony has that bravado. I don't know if it was just a fit thing, but he was struggling with his shooting, and I think he was a little bit in his head. What do you guys think about how Cole Anthony fits with the trajectory of Orlando Magic? And you think it was just a tough shooting run in the Summer League? Chase?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like some guys, like again, Cole Anthony knows it's weird. Like the Orlando Magic are kind of weird right now. They were playing Cole Anthony and RJ Hampton in the backcourt, and I think everybody thought that there was no way they were going to get Jalen Suggs. Everybody thought he was going to go forth to Toronto. Now they get Jalen Suggs. It's like, all right, now we just added a big-time point guard in kind of our quote-unquote core of, Hampton and Cole. So, I mean, it's hard to like I said, it's really hard to judge Summer League because some guys really want to be there to hoop. Some guys just are there because, the team said, like, hey, Cole, you got to be there. And he's like, I mean, who knows? Mentally, who knows? I mean, he's in Vegas, so maybe he's just like, forget this. I'm just gonna have fun in Vegas. I already know I'm kind of like, might be probably gonna be a starter. So I don't need to show that.
Chase is blaming it on Vegas. Bad performances because we're in Vegas. Hey, shout out to the NBA. This was a huge win. All 30 first-round picks participated in the Summer League. Just 2 years ago in 2019, only 19 of the 30 picks played. They were thinking that the talent had started going down and it wasn't as appealing. But I think this year's Summer League was a huge win for the NBA and the NBA going forward.
Let me just say one thing about Summer League before we move on. My favorite thing about Summer League was the Portland Trailblazers, man. They had all these old teams. Beasley, Kenneth Reed, Moutier.
Yeah.
I think my guy Jordan Crawford was supposed to go, but I don't think he went.
Yeah, I don't think he went.
Yeah, I just love seeing those, like, guys who have been in the league 10 plus years trying to just get a job and are willing to play Summer League.
That was very cool. And Chauncey Billups looked real hands-on. I'm excited to see him as a head coach because he was all around that Summer League team, and you can see the buzz in the building. Hopefully that's a positive for Portland.
Man, Portland had a horrible offseason. They had Dame.
Awful.
They had Dame talking about how they needed help if he's going to stay. And then they added Cody Zeller and put Beasley and Kenneth Reed in their Summer League. Like, I don't know, man. I think he's gone.
Yeah. And Greg Brown, who may have the dunk of the Summer League in between, that's all he does. Greg Brown is not a good hooper, and it seems like Portland found another one. They have not been hitting in the draft. Zach Collins would look like one of their better draft picks. He goes to San Antonio after some injury-riddled season. So, yeah, it's pretty meek there in Portland. And,
what'd you guys think of, while we're still talking about it, what'd you guys think of Cade?
It was beautiful. He was lovely. I would say that because I'm the Cade lover. I would like them when he was playing with Killian Hayes for the ball to be in his hands a little bit more. They were letting Killian kind of play make, and then when Cade had the ball in his hands, the offense just ran more beautifully. And I think that's something that eventually he'll get the keys, sort of like Luka in Dallas. It took him a little time. They wanted to see if him and Dennis Smith Jr. were going to work together. And I think that's kind of going to happen here in Detroit. And eventually Cade is going to get the keys. And the game that Killian didn't play, he hit 7 threes. I love Cade.
I saw Chase's shoulder shrug. That's what I want to hear.
Oh, about what? When did I do that?
I said, what do you think about Cade's performance? And I saw
I mean, fine. Like I said, I think he's going to put up stats because, again, number 1 pick, you're going to Detroit, who's god awful. Someone's got to put points up. So it kind of reminds me of, it's funny because it's the first couple. If you're on a really bad team, for your first couple years, and you put up stats, that means shit. It means nothing. I remember one of my guys, I love Al Thornton. He played with Wizards for a little bit.
Yep.
He was
I've heard that name in a while.
In those years when they drafted him, and there was no one on the Clippers. I'm talking about no one. And he was averaging 18, 19 points a game, killing it. And then he comes here with Washington, he plays maybe 2 or 3 more years and it's done. So I'm not comparing him to Cade, but I'm saying he's going to put up stats. He could average 20 points on that team, but it's going to be interesting to see if he shoots the ball well. I mean, he could have an awful field goal percentage. But they're that team. Again, I'm not Killian Hayes and Isaiah Stewart and
Jeremy Grant.
Jeremy Grant's a great player, right? But he went from averaging. I mean, I had him in fantasy, so I love Jeremy Grant. I love him as a person. Man, and that's the crazy thing about the NBA. A lot of people can go average 20 points a game on a team, but I
agree.
Jeremy Grant's not averaging 20 points on a lot of teams in the league just because, again, someone's got to put the ball in the hole.
Yeah, Coach Kevin Coleman points out, I don't know if Kevin Porter Jr. is a good NBA player or he was just a guy getting good stats on a bad team.
He's good.
We'll see.
Kevin Porter is good.
The test of time, we'll see. And I love his talent, but we will see if his 16, 6, and 6 will translate going forward.
He almost had a 50 ball last year.
He did have a 50 ball. Yeah.
He did have one. Yeah, that dude, just a pure scorer, fluid. He actually makes passes. He's active. He goes and gets boards. I don't know if he's like an all NBA talent, but he's doing the same thing on multiple teams.
Hey, well, the distribution and him being able to be a playmaker and getting those assists up was huge growth in his game because he was just known as an isolation scorer. So we'll see what happens with that. I know Houston Rockets will be one of number 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in our NBA League Pass of teams we want to watch every night because Jalen Green is just one of the most exciting young players that I've seen in a long time. Going from some of these young guys to a vet that earned a supermax contract, 4 years. $196 million. Let's have our thoughts on Joel, the 76ers trajectory. Did he earn it? Would you have done it? How do you kind of feel about the 76ers going forward? Chase?
I mean, yeah, they didn't have a choice.